Now to tonight's Fox 7 Focus. This week marks 2 months since a concrete truck plowed into a Hayes CISD school bus in Bastrop County. One student on that bus died along with the driver of another car. The bus involved did not have seatbelts. Joining us to talk about this is Trey Gober, an attorney representing one of the kids who was injured in that crash. Trey, thanks for being here.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
So first of all, I want to ask you, how is your client doing? I understand this is a 5-year-old child. How is that person doing, and how are these families doing, 2 months after this happened?
It's a traumatic event. Our client is very fortunate in that their physical injuries are relatively less severe than some of the other children, some of the other people involved. Obviously, the long-term mental anguish, mental injuries of having been involved in this crash will be there forever.
And as we've been hearing, as the investigation comes out, we know this bus did not have seatbelts. Investigators not saying specifically whether or not that would have made a difference. But what is your reaction to that? How important are seatbelts on a school bus in your view?
Well, seatbelts in general, school bus or not, we've known for a very long time, decades, the value of seatbelts. Obviously, this crash was a tragic event, and we're working to hold accountable everybody that we can hold accountable. The conversation about seatbelts doesn't mean that we're necessarily faulting anyone for not having seatbelts at this time. That's still an ongoing pending investigation. And so it's not here to play the blame game, but really just how can we learn from a tragedy like this to make sure that something similar doesn't happen?
And how important is this issue to your clients and to some of these families, who've been through this tragedy?
The positive that we see is the fact that we're having this conversation right now about the importance of seatbelts, which school districts have seatbelts on all their buses, which don't. We're seeing an escalation even with this particular school district, the Hayes ISD. We're seeing an escalation to move to all buses having seatbelts. And so that's the silver lining to this tragedy.
Yeah, and I think we're having a conversation about what is the law? I think a lot of us didn't know what the law was before. So talk to us about that. Where does the law stand right now? I understand older buses are essentially grandfathered in. They don't have to have seatbelts, while newer ones do. Is that correct?
Yeah, absolutely. So any bus made after 2017, purchased after 2017, has to have a seatbelt. However, there's currently an out clause for school districts to say that it's not cost feasible. The reality is, I've read several reports, the cost to add seatbelts to a school bus is about $10,000. Budgets are large enough that this should not be a line item. Safety of our children and these schools should not be a line item. If we were to write the rule, I think the rule is very simple. Every school bus should have seatbelts, and those seatbelts should have 3-point harnesses.
How quickly do you think this change could happen here in Texas? What do you think needs to happen? And are you hearing any conversation among lawmakers at the Capitol here, that could we see this move forward in the near term? We
could absolutely have a funded mandate from our Texas lawmakers, our governor, as far as whether that's 3 months, 6 months. There's some logistics to work out there, but it can certainly be accomplished, and sooner is better than later.
All right, Attorney Trey Gober. Trey, thank you so much for being here and speaking with us. We appreciate it.
Thanks for having me. Thanks.